Hey y'all, hope y'all having a good day or a good night. This might be one of the top 10 stupidest things I've ever done. So y'all might want to check this out. I'm walking an old fire break, not too far from home. Yep, it's thicker than hair on a dog's back in here. I decided to come in here because the forestry came in not too long ago and re-trimmed or cut this fire break. This ain't too far from my house, probably about 2 miles, 2.5 miles. And yeah, it's been raining pretty much most of the day, and you can see a little bit of light rain coming in front of the light right now. It's dropped off pretty chilly out here, and in fact it got so chilly I had to go with the socks and Crocs tonight. I'm not gonna be getting off trail too far, so I didn't need no hiking boots or anything, and it's colder than it's been. I'm gonna find a good place right over here. This is the backside of Sassafras Mountain here in South Carolina, and I am about 1/3 of the way up. I didn't have to do any climbing or anything. This was straight in off of a gravel road, and pick up this fire break and started walking. Here's where I might lose y'all. Double click this light. I'm using this little through night light right now, and it's a jam up and jelly tight light. I want to make sure I keep up with where I'm going and where I've been. All right, a little explanation of what it is I'm doing, folks. Right, you guys might know there is a certain motif with my channel, with my logo and everything. And there's kind of a reason for that motif. I usually don't talk about too much, because if you talk about it, people seem to think that you're a little cuckoo. And, oops, I'm still kind of not real fond of talking about it. But I'll tell you guys, man, it is so thick back in here. No wonder they put a fire break in here. I mean, it is thick. But back some years ago, I had an experience. And I know you guys are already kind of assuming what the subject matter is. But I had this little experience, and no, I did not see Bigfoot. But I did see something that I really can't explain very much. And ever since then, I've been kind of infatuated with it. Am I a Bigfoot believer? You know, am I a Bigfoot hunter? Am I blah, blah? The answer to that is both are just emphatically no. I have had a couple of happenings that I can't explain, but that don't mean it was Bigfoot. But this friend he's a subscriber on my YouTube channel, texted me there and said there have been some sightings. So I figured it's been a rainy, nasty day. The rain finally quit a little while ago. So guess what I'm gonna do? Come out here, and I'm going to lose all credibility. And yeah, we just gonna have a little fun and see what happens here. And I'm kind of thinking, this is bear country and hog country. And I don't know if you guys can see y'all down in there. Yep, that's hog country right there, buddy. It is all, there's a little bitty creek right down there. If you guys have seen the one at my house, it's about half the size of the one in my house, and the banks of it are wallered all to heck. But you can see the little tunnels coming in and out of there. Wild hogs been coming through, and yeah, there is quite a population of bear up in here too. So I do have my pew, so if I drop the light and you hear bang, 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 you kind of pray for me. All right, it's been 10 minutes maybe since I talked to y'all last. The woods are dead silent. I'll tell you something else. Let me show y'all something. Whatever might be in here, I have been probably spooking off because I'm shining ahead of me, head high and so forth, and big old joker spiders are everywhere. And I ain't about to walk through one of them because I'd hate to run out of these woods butt naked. Anyway, back to subject. So I was back at the house and I got this hatchet. It's like a carpenter's hatchet that I bought at Home Depot Tractor Supply. And I was kind of starting to do a little messing with it. Now I'm going to do some reviewing on it and see how good a hatchet it is. And sorry for the light, I'm having to hold it with one hand. This is said hatchet. Yep. It has a American hickory handle. And it seems to be a pretty darn good hatchet. So I figured, in all my wonderful abundance of wisdom, I'll bring this hatchet with me, in case I need a hatchet, which I probably ain't gonna need a hatchet, but the hickory handle, I can test on it doing this. All right, I've been quiet for a few minutes now. Let's try this. Dang, it's loud. I just want to tell y'all, if I hear something knock back, I'll probably have to come back and get my phone and hatchet. Let me put this light on bright. It's on. Yeah. If some dang hog or bear comes out here, I want to see that sucker coming. Or I know I'll hear it, but Let's try it again. All these Bigfoot people say that if there's a Bigfoot out there, that if you knock, maybe he'll knock back and all. Let's see. Let's try it again. You know what? This could very possibly be one of the dumbest things I've ever done. Of course, I guess I knew that to start with, because that's what I started the video with. Boy, there's a big old tree right yonder. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's a whopper. Hell, there ain't no way I can see it in here. It is like mega thick. Uh-oh. Does that mean my battery's about to die? All right, let me get on back down this trail. I think that's a flashing means my battery's about to croak. Stand by. All right, folks, my battery died. So I'm walking out of the woods. You know me, Mr. I'm prepared for anything, with a cell phone light filming. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. All right, I haven't heard anything. I'm about halfway back to the truck now, and as much as I'm talking anything that would be in here, if it was something in here, I've probably been scared the bejesus out of it. Everything's just little weeds. There's a tree right there. Let me whack on that thing a couple times if I can get over here without breaking my neck. I'm not going to point my firearm at anything or anyone. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. The battery on my pistol light is dead. Good Lord. What a dummy. I guess I better start heading back toward the truck. I got like 32% on my battery on my phone and cut this a little bit short. So, yeah, let me turn the camera off and turn the flashlight on full blast and, yeah, head back towards the truck a little bit. Check back with y'all. Whew. Dang, it's getting chilly. And I wore shorts and Crocs. I'll check back with y'all here in just a minute. All right. Trying not to break my ever-loving neck here. Let's put this on bright for just a second. I think the battery's about to die. Yep, it's still flashing. Let's take it off bright. Oop, it's flashing faster now. I better get back to the truck. All right, I made it back to this ditch. I ain't too far away from the truck. Dadgummit. I think that light might mean overheating. I'm not sure. Because this thing gets hotter than poo-poo. All right, let me try that knock it one more time. And if y'all won't laugh at me, I'm going to bail her out one time just because I see them idiots on YouTube do it. And, well, I guess I qualify as an idiot too now. All right, let's do a whack and then a yell. Y'all ready? I sure hope that means that this light's just hot. Yeah, I ain't but a couple 100 yards from the truck now. Let me put this thing on moonlight. Oh, it's still flashing. Yeah, buddy. And the light just went dead. That's pretty cool. And my stupid pistol light's dead. Let's see if I can get my light on my camera here. All right, I got it back on. You ain't put much of a light out. I might have to, turn the camera off and use the phone light to get back to the truck. It's a straight shot down a fire break. It ain't like I gotta traverse the woods or anything. But I'd rather not break my neck on one of these daggum limbs where they've been cleaning up in here and cutting this daggum fire break out. Let's try this light again. If I flip this on and there's something standing there, I'm gonna poop. Yep. Yeah, it'll flash a few times and it stops. All right, one more whacking on a tree. And I'm gonna bill her one time. Don't y'all laugh too hard. All right, here it goes. Is that what a Bigfoot's supposed to sound like? What's that? More like a monkey. Yep. Let's listen. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ease toward the truck. Give my phone a little bit of a break. And yeah, I'll get back with y'all when I get up here. Alright, y'all, I just drove back to the house. I was gonna try to get on here when I got back to the truck, but my battery was like really low. My flashlight wound up dying. My stupid weapons light was dead. Yeah, this is the guy who talks about being prepared, you know? But I got back to it. I never heard anything. It just, the only thing I hear was rain dripping out of the trees. And, yeah, I plugged my phone up, so I let it charge a little while before I got back here, or till I got back here. And, yeah, I'll tell y'all something. Cooper's glad to see I got home in one piece, ain't you, boy? Huh? Yeah, and you try to jump up and truck with Dad, Pop, whatever I am. You ain't that right, Coopy? You get wet? I'm wet too. I don't know if I'm totally impressed with these little 3-night flashlights. As an EDC, just to have a light in your pocket, I haven't used it a whole lot at one time, but yeah, it didn't take it too long to go belly up. I know that was weird, but yeah, I thought I had this in a truck, but I took it out to charge it, and it was plugged in right there charging, so it wasn't in the truck. See, that's what I'm talking about. You need to be prepared. But anyway, back to my story. I'm gonna give y'all like the super short Cliff Notes version of this story because you guys probably gonna think I'm an idiot, or you're probably gonna get more proof I'm an idiot. I was about 27, 28 years old, something like that. I've always been kind of a loner hunting. I was hunting with some guys, but they were on the backside of Doug Mountain here in South Carolina. I'm kind of giving some spots away, but I don't care. They were on the backside of Doug Mountain. I was on the front side. I had scouted it and found some hot buck sign. Some really, fresh scrapes. A line that went forever into a bedding area of horned trees. And rubs, as normal people. We call them rubs and pawed outs, but you know. Anyway, I have found that, and being the good friend I am, I wanted to keep it secret. So my buddy Scott, my buddy Stanley, God rest them, their souls. I'm not Catholic, but you know, anytime you can invoke the cross of Jesus Christ is a good day. Anywho, my buddy Scott and Stanley, they took the easy route. The other side of this mountain had a bunch of roads cut through it. Tractor roads going to food plots and all. Well, if you hunted those food plots, you had to pick a number, get a ticket, and pay parking. You know what I mean? It's everybody and their brother hunted in there. And I ain't never been about hunting near anybody else. I like to get in early. I like to go deep. I like to take like a drainage and walk, you know. I don't like to walk trails and things. And the reason being, I like to get in there as undetected as possible if I'm going to be sitting all day. Which usually never happens. I usually sit till like an hour or two after daylight. And then I'll walk, post up next to a tree, bino the area for about 10 minutes. Get my breath real good. And then there I go again. Me, that's funner, and I have had far more success doing that. So, my buddy Scott and Stanley, and I say they have both passed away now. But yes, Stanley died at 32 years old, cirrhosis of the liver from drinking too much. And if it wasn't for the grace of the good Lord, I'd be there with him. Scott died a couple years ago in his 50s, a lifetime of smoking, really bad habits. Won't get into that. But yeah, these two guys were my hunting buddies. They're brothers, and they're on the other side of the mountain, quite a far piece away, okay? Just, so y'all kind of understand what's going on. So I come up out of this drainage, and I crossed over a creek, got my feet wet. It was cold, and I was kind of starting to, well, this is a bummer, And you know how it gets when everything seems to start going south on you. You just like, the only thing you can think of is that heater and that pickup truck. So I had even completely given up. Not given up, but I wasn't quite as interested in finding me a buck as I was when I left the truck. So I'm walking along, and I come up over a rise. And then from top of that rise, there was a little old logging road with little saplings growing up through it. And I got looking, and every daggum one of them saplings was rubbed. And so I got over to the side of the logging road because there was a really killer deer trail running down through there, and I didn't want to walk on it. And I'm walking along, and there's like 5 huge pawed out scrapes. Pawed outs, yeah. Within probably I say 75-yard area. All right, so I said, you know what? Old fat boy gonna post up right here. Well, I backed up on a hillside that was kind of paralleling this road bed, and got in front of a big tree, and there was a little blowdown right in front of me. Still had some leaves on it and stuff. I kind of eased that around real quietly in front of me. And by this time, this is probably 10 o'clock in the morning after time change, so it's been daylight for quite a spell, And I post up, I was, hey, let's see what happens. So I post up, and I'm, I did that 2 burps at a time, grunts. Every 5 or 10 minutes, I did that like 3 or 4 times. Now I'm just sitting there, maybe be half hour, 45 minutes gone by, and I'm just laser searching the woods. Well, across this road bed, it's like where I was sitting is up on this hill, and it goes down, comes kind of into a ditched area, back up road bed, and then it drops back off a ditch, and it's like slants down a fair piece and goes up a real steep hill on the other side. So I'm sitting there in like almost eye level with me at about 60, 70 yards. And I saw the first ever bear I have ever seen in the woods while hunting. I've hunted these woods all my life. And you see all kind of bear sign and all, but this bear, this black ball of 4-leggedness, yeah, more on that later, comes meandering, and I could see it, couldn't see it, and I could see it, couldn't see it, because it was pretty thick in there. Kind of like what I showed you a while ago when I was beating on the trees, all right? So I'm seeing this thing, and I see it here, and I lose it, and there it is over there. And then I lose it again, and oh, there it is. Oh, it's even closer now. Oh. Now, this ain't where I start. This bear was 12 feet long and weighed 650 pounds. No, it was like your average size bear, maybe a little smaller. It was what it looked like. And this bear stopped in an area where I couldn't see the whole bear, but he went up on the side of a tree with his paws, and he was clawing at the tree. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And the whole time, I was hunting with a lever action 35 Remington, that thing stayed on my knee in that direction. And I'm watching it, part kind of nervous and part kind of awe-inspired, and yeah, overall I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I'm watching this thing. My heart's beating, but it never got where I could see the whole bear. I could just see like I could see it moving around doing like this up on the tree and everything. And at that time, it seemed like it was probably there for 5 minutes, but it was probably actually more like 20 or 30 seconds that it was doing this. And I firmly 100% hunt wind direction. It don't matter. I don't care if you buy the world's most expensive camo, you have a $10,000 highly tuned rifle. What the case is, if you're hunting with the wind at your back, you're screwed. A lot of fellows I've hunted with over the years never pay attention to wind direction. They'll kill some deer, never kill a big buck, but they'll kill some deer. And like my father-in-law, rest his soul, loved that man to death, but he used to, I'd be like, well, which way was the wind blowing, Tommy? Because he'd set up on some really hot stuff, especially when we was on our little hunting club area. It was a lease, it wasn't a club. And we put up a couple of ladder stands, and we had some climbing stands, and sometimes hunt off the ground. I said, which way was the wind blowing? Well, when I got up there, I lit me a cigarette, and it was blowing that way. Well, that's a little bit late to find out, but anyway, I digress. Let's continue. So I watched this wind direction really close, and I had one of them little puffer bottles with like chalk dust in it, silica dust. And I always keep it in my left hand because I've got my right hand around the pistol grip area of my rifle. And I can always just set that little puffer ball down, or heck, drop it, because it don't weigh. It's not going to make noise or anything in case I need to get my rifle. Because like I do, most of the time when you spot a deer in the woods, it's just, bam, there it is, bam, it's gone. So you gotta react. So right before I see this bear, I hit the puffer bottle, and the puffer bottle sprayed right back dead across my nose and kind of at an angle toward my shoulder. So I was holding it here. So then I hold it way out in front of me, and I hit it, and it was blowing the wind was blowing towards my like 4 o'clock. So I'm like, hey, I'm good here, Well, after I had sat there a while, I hit it again, and it was blowing dead across my face the opposite direction. Because wind in the mountains, especially on a chilly morning, if you're in the mountains on a chilly morning and the sun comes up, when the sun comes up, the thermals start rising real fast. The warm air rises and takes your scent with it. So if you're hunting anywhere in a bottom area and a deer comes up anywhere in the general vicinity of the wind direction, they're going to smell you. If it comes over the top of the mountain, you sitting low, they're going to smell you at the top of the mountain. So that's why, you hunt high in the morning because your thermals are rising, and you hunt low in the evening because your thermals are falling. And that's true. Proven out over years. So I checked the wind direction. It's blowing straight across my face from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I'm like, well, we're still pretty good with this setup. It's kind of basically blowing down the road. So anything coming this way down that road is going to smell me. But the thermals are rising, and I'm already kind of setting up on this hill, and the road's below me. So maybe I stand a good chance with the thermals, it's going to rise and go over their head. All this is going through my mind because I pay really good attention to the wind direction. And there's a reason I'm telling you all this. After I've been there maybe an hour or so, I've always loved wearing hoodies without a zipper. It's my hunting public. That's a good channel. Y'all need to watch them. I always like wearing hoodies, something thin. Then I'll put like maybe a sweatshirt. It can be I don't care if it's a purple Madonna shirt. If it's under this, I couldn't care less. And under that, I like to put a t-shirt. And in later years, when I was younger, I couldn't afford to get all the Gucci stuff and everything. But now, I kind of layer a little more smartly. I put a moisture wicking, real thin t-shirt under the bottom against my skin. Then on top of that, I put a man-made material, any kind of man-made material, not cotton. Never wear cotton hunting. I got this man-made material long sleeve t-shirt over that, okay? Y'all following along? And then on top of everything, I have on like a fleece hoodie. And if you've ever been in the woods, you get wet, you sweat, and that cotton gets wet, you will freeze to death. And you're basically a walking scent bomb everywhere you go. That's why I say, I don't even wear cotton drawers in the woods. I think I'm getting down one of my little rabbit trails, and I kind of am. But I'm telling you all this because I want you to understand that I pay attention to stuff. So when I took my hood off, I'm sitting there like this, and this is the way I like to sit. And I usually got on a head net. And I'd be scanning the area. Real slow head movements. Well, when the sun got up, the sun was like right over the top of me. It was beating down on that dark camouflage and everything. And I started to get a little warm under here. You know what I'm saying? I peeled the hood off, and I could feel a breeze on the back of my neck. All right. Well, I'm watching this bear, and I can guess, I've thought about this over the years so many times. And I want to say he was between 50 and 60 yards, but I don't know. It could have been 80 or 90 yards. Like I say, I pay attention to stuff, but he kind of had me, I was just keep my rifle pointed that way and watch him and have a good time. That's what all I was really thinking hard on. But I think he wasn't over 60 yards away. And when I felt this cool air hitting the back of my neck, I was like, oh, crap. If that joker takes off tearing through the woods and snorting and everything running, he is going to spook everything within 5 miles of where I'm sitting. And so I had my little puffer bottle in my hand. I picked my puffer bottle up, and I pop it one time, and it's blowing at like 12:30. And he's somewhere around 11 or 12 o'clock. And I'm like, this ain't good. If he moves any to the east, I'm busted. Well, the wind, the thermals, everything, and you get in a certain spot in the mountains, it swirls. And I think the wind swirled a little bit because that bear, all of a sudden you could hear the bark. And all of a sudden you could just say he just froze. And I could see his head moving around, but I couldn't see like his snap. I could just see this black ball going like this. And I'm watching real intently over in there. And I'm thinking, man, I wish he would get, because there's a couple of tree limbs with some dead leaves on it sticking out there. I'm thinking, man, I wish he was just a little. And I actually did this, trying to get a better view of him. And I don't know if he saw me move or that wind direction hit him. But all of a sudden, this joker came off that tree and was still on his back legs and looking straight over toward me. And then I could see brown. And I just tell you that because I don't want to mislead you. I could just see brown. I couldn't see features or anything. It was just black with brown. And I seen brown straight my way. And then he took off running. All right, y'all with me so far? He took off running along that hillside, kind of probably 1 o'clock in front, away from me, but not dead away from me. And I could see him and I couldn't see him. Just like when I first saw him. I could see patches of him through the woods. Then I couldn't see anything. Then I could see a patch of. Then I seen him. He moved into an open patch and stopped. And along that time is when it dawned on me. That bear is still on his back legs. So like any moron, I pulled my rifle up, and I had a little, it was a Tasco, the old Tasco World Class scope, really good scope, so they were lifetime warranty. Anyway, I pulled my rifle up and was going to look at him, and so I could get a better view. And when I pulled that rifle up, about the time it got right here, because I've trained myself to always keep your eye on what you're looking at and bring the scope to your eye, because if you just look through the scope, you'll be looking for him everywhere. About the time I got the rifle to about here, he bolted again through one of the very few, and I say open spots, it might have been 6 or 10 feet wide little open spot. And he was running away from me on his back legs. I'm just saying. Well, he ran and, or she, whatever, ran and got out of my sight. And I was like, wow, what the heck? And then I saw it move from my right to left, kind of at like toward 11 o'clock, angling away. He's way over here, and I see him moving this way. And it stops again and looks at me, still on its hind legs. And it runs up to the top of the hill, stops again, and I got a pretty darn good look at it this time because it was skylined. There was nothing back in behind it. There was another logging road. We call it a traverse up there, down here. But it was another little logging road deal on top of this ridge. And there was no big trees, a few saplings along it and everything. And when it got at the top, it skylined. There's still some trash, some trash around it and everything, some little saplings and limbs and stuff. But I could see, and it was still on its back legs. And it turned and ran. And it ran dead straight away from me, over that rise, over that logging road, on its back legs. All right, so you say, okay, so what? What's the big deal? But why did you go tonight and beating and banging in the woods after somebody told you there had been Bigfoot sightings? Well, I'm intrigued by it. I'm not a Bigfoot guy. I am intrigued by it, and I've been very intrigued since then. And I would love, if it existed, to see one of these, or go out in the woods and beat on a tree with a stick, because they say big feet. Yeah. They say that they'll beat on a tree and communicate back. I don't know, But that's why I went out there, because I've always been intrigued. That's why I have the Bigfoot logo on my channel. That's why I have on, well, this is my Bigfoot t-shirt. And Brother Dennis sent me the Western North Carolina Bigfoot Fest. I'm very intrigued by it. Do I believe it? Not really. Am I going to say, no, it doesn't exist? Not really. Am I going to say, yes, it absolutely exists? Not really. Which brings me to this point. When I bought the holster and the light kit from Warriorland Tactical, I got extra batteries, and I'm going to go ahead and change that now. So what I'm thinking, I've never seen video of a deer running on its back legs. I've asked several people who've bear hunted their whole life. I've bear hunted some, but I'm a novelty bear. I'll pay $25 a year for a tag, just in case you accidentally run across one. I've got bears that live right behind my house here that I get pictures of on trail camera and stuff, that I don't hunt those. I don't want anybody else. I want them to breed, proliferate, and, I think they're cool animals. So if bear don't run on their hind legs, what was it running away from me? I don't know. I just don't know. And, over the years, and I will go up front and say this, your mind, as you're remembering and replaying stuff in your mind, I've had people, the very, very few people I've ever told this to, say, well, your mind elaborates on things and it fills in gaps to what you're thinking and all this kind of thing. Well, my mind right now, when this bear was running away, its front legs, not poking straight out, they were more down by its side in a swinging kind of motion. And the front legs or arms, don't turn it off yet, were longer than the back. I mean, it's like they went down to, like if a grown man standing there with his arms down beside his side, They went down well below his butt. So, there's that. Was that Bigfoot? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, really? Yeah. I know y'all. I have no credibility left now. I don't know how much I had to start with, but anywho, that was when I was younger. Like I say, I was in my late 20s, and I have walked through these mountains up here so many times since then. And I've been bluff charged by a real bear twice. They never even got close to me. Come down like the side of a mountain, like, ooh, 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 and then they get 40 yards from you and turn off and dive down through the woods, and they're gone. Make you mess your britches up now. I ain't kidding you. Other than that, squirrels, deer, bobcats. That's it. Until about 3 years ago. I'm really seriously debating. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Why not? I done put it out there now. Yep. About 3 years ago, I was hunting a highline power line, and this is a gigantic power line. It's like the big tall towers, and it's like 3 towers wide, comes straight off the nuclear plant that's several miles here away from me. And I was hunting on that high line, and it runs right smack dab through the middle of this public land, DNR land, game management, whatever you want to call it. And I sat there 2 days in a row, didn't see anything but orange hats. So the following weekend, I had 2 days to hunt that weekend. I said, you know what? I'm going to go way down that high line, away from the gravel truck, and high lines go in spans. They roll hills and go through the mountains. I went down like 3 spans, and I think there's like 500 yards between the spans. So maybe 1,500, 2,000 yards or so. Walked down through the woods on the edge of this high line, went through some booger briars, got all scratched up, and I found a nice little spot. It was beautiful. Oak trees on the edge of that thing, still a few acorns laying on the ground, deer tracks everywhere. I don't recall seeing any pawed out scrapes. Did see some fresh horn trees in the area, and this is like Thanksgiving time, and that's the key to public land anywhere, especially around here. You go deep after the season's been open a while, where nobody, most people on that stuff hunt within 100, 200 yards of their vehicle. So you got to go. Well, at the time, I had my old climbing stand, and I didn't have a whole bunch of confidence in it. So I never got over like 16 feet off the ground, 15, 16 feet off the ground in it. And so I go down there and I climb up. Well, when I get where I'm going to climb, I'm kind of like looking around, and there's a ridge to my right, and I'm like eye level with the ridge. On anything that comes out there, they're going to see me. So I made it another 10 feet or so up, and I was, way higher than I usually hunt. And it took me a few minutes to get kind of comfortable. I got my hunter safety system vest on, strapped to a tree, and I'm like, well, worst thing that can happen is I'm going to hang on the side of this tree for 3 weeks and they find my bones, Ironically, that weekend, I didn't see a vehicle on that. I mean, it's way back down the gravel road in the game. Didn't see anything. No vehicles, no orange, no flashlights coming through the woods, nothing. And I'm enjoying the afternoon. And, And it got, I hear Cooper out there bellowing. Let me go check on him. It starts getting over towards that time, the dusky, it's just the sun's going behind the clouds, behind the trees, and it just it's deer 30, you know what I'm saying? And there was something right behind me. I mean, it sounded like it was on the tree with me. It was that loud and close. Cut loose with a and I about pooped on myself. Because it's dead quiet out there. There's nothing. Everything got real quiet and still. And it's like, oh, I'm going to see a big buck in any minute. I'm like, oh Lord, I was shaking like a dog pooping peach pits. I ain't joking you. And whatever it was quiet. I mean, and then I got to thinking, well, was I sitting here and I was so engaged and looking around? Maybe it was a bobcat or something. No, it wasn't no bobcat. It was something explainable. No big. And as you know, as the couple of minutes, as the minutes went by, I'm like, you big dummy. And then once again, like it was right there on the tree with me. Bah! And then I was rattled. Well, I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? The sun's done set. It's deer 30. You know, it's going to be dark in about 30, 45 minutes. And I got Mr. Bud back in behind me here. You know what? And the biggest thing that was worrying me is my hunting backpack. I always carry a roll of duct tape in it. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to take my flashlight. And I had a little stream light, like 3 AAA flashlight at the time. And I'm going to tape that stream light to the barrel of my rifle. And God be with whatever jumps out in front of me on the way out. And then I can't do that. That is so not safe, you know. The last thing I want to do is live with a hunting accident or something like that the rest of my life. So I'm sitting there, and it's starting to get darker and darker. Well, what am I going to do? Well, I put little ratchet ropes on my stand. And if you've ever been in the woods hunting and you have your foot piece go down the tree, you know what I'm talking about. A ratchet strap or little ratchet rope, 1/4-inch ratchet rope to hold you stand tightly to the tree. And then I have another rope that goes from the top piece to the bottom piece. In case it does fall, you can pull it back up, because where I'm hunting most of the time, and I know it's not smart, but nobody knows where I'm at. So, yeah, there's that. I started getting all my little ratchet ropes off. I never take that rope off the foot piece, because going up and coming down is when you drop that joker. And I got all that. I crammed them in a little kangaroo pouch on my hoodie. And and then, you know, I don't want to say panic. Kind of the whole, let's get this moving started in, you know. And like I say, I done climbed up higher than I usually climb. So I'm kind of really careful coming down the tree, because I don't like heights, you know. And I get down, I guess my head was about where my feet was at when I started. And right off in front of me, across that power line, I heard, brrr, stopped climbing or descending. I stopped right where I was at. My heart is, but I'm thinking it's going to blow out my ear hole any second, you know. I'm looking across there. I picked up my little binos, and I'm just trying my best to see, you know, at this point, pee on a deer. I don't care if the world record Milo Hansen buck steps out in that power line. I ain't even going to shoot it, because I don't want nothing to know where I'm at. Yeah, it's called getting rattled. So I don't see anything on the other side of that power line. All right. And I mean, I spent a good 5 minutes just like a laser beam going through, looking everywhere over there. I saw nothing moving, saw nothing. I said, well, it's about time to get out of here, because by the time I get my feet on the ground, it's going to be dark. And whatever that was, did that again. But it was further away. And even though I heard it, that made me feel so much better. Until the one behind me went, brrr, just as loud as the first time. Now, this little area where I was at, the Duke Power, who is our power people, that's who owns the nuclear plant now, they'd gone at certain spots along this power line and planted little food plots. And so there's a food plot out there. And if there's a food plot out there, you know, there's no trees and stuff planted there. So there was still some light coming in there from the waning sun, you know. So I could kind of see around, you know, everything. And I'm looking. And I'm be honest, when I stood up to come down that tree, I stood up to put part I sat on down, and then pick my feet up so I can drop my feet again. When I stood up, my legs, I thought I was going to fall down. I mean, my legs were shaking. Had no idea what's going on. Because I'll just be honest with you. If something, whatever it was, if it was standing out where I can see it, I don't care what it is. You know, my thinking, and that's like a while ago when I went out there in the woods, it don't bother me. You know, I jumped in the truck, rode a couple of miles around the mountain, went out there and walked down a daggum fire break. It don't really bother me. I didn't know my batteries were dead, my pistol, you know. But it's stuff like that's never really bothered me. But I was bothered. I was bothered to like the 25th degree. I was bothered to the point of needing some Scott tissue. So I finally get to the bottom of the tree. I get my stand off the tree, get all the cables put back in this, you know, everything's situated, and I'm doing this. It's not packed up quite as nice and quietly as I usually do. And I put it all together, and I pull around my ratchet ropes that I pull around the tree to keep from falling, yada, yada. I pull that around, hold it all together, throw that thing on my back, and the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like this far from my rifle leaned against the tree because I'm not leaving that rifle. That thing on my back, and when I flipped the light on, there was still daylight, but it was daylight in the sky, but it wasn't daylight in the woods. So I flipped my flashlight up, and I'm like, holy moly, and couldn't see crap. And then I broke my cardinal rule. I went on ahead and I used that electrical tape to tape the flashlight to my gun barrel. Don't ever do that. That's what happens when you get rattled and you make bad decisions, all right? But anyway, I'm walking through the woods, and this flashlight looking through the woods and limbs looks just like you're following the kids around in the Blair Witch Project, you know? I guess I'm halfway back to the truck, and I heard a stick snap or something made a sound, and I stopped and I listened. And as soon as I stopped and listened, I heard another stick snap, but it was like whatever it was stopped as I stopped. And okay, I wheeled around with that flashlight attached to my gun barrel and looked all around me 2 or 3 times, and I picked up the pace, headed back toward the truck. And whatever snapped that stick was moving through the woods. I don't know how far away it was from me, but it was moving with me back to my truck. Now, up until I told the millions and millions and 15 people on YouTube, I've probably mentioned this to maybe 3 or 4 people. And maybe that might have been a coyote, you know. Okay, I'll accept that, you know. The coyote didn't go brrr, you know, but maybe it was a coyote, you know, kind of, you know, walking beside me as I'm leaving out of the woods. I don't know. And when I finally got back to the truck, I didn't have a camper cover on my truck. I didn't even have the same truck then, but I peeled that daggum tree stand off my back, threw it in the back of the truck. It had my backpack hooked to it, the whole 9 yards, threw everything in the truck, and almost threw my gun in the back of the truck with it. That's how I wanted to get inside that truck. I didn't have power door locks or anything. You know, I'm thinking, heck, if whatever it is can open doors, I'm screwed anyway. That's the stuff that was going through my mind. My mind's going a mile a second. And when I got in that truck, sat on that seat, stuck them keys in the ignition, and turned it, and it went vroom. I was the happiest man on earth. So, that is the elongated story. I've been wanting to mention that to you guys. I couldn't ever figure out how. Then my friend on YouTube here sent me there's been sightings things, text message today, and I'm not going to mention his name because he might not appreciate that. He probably don't want people to think he's crazy too. And he sent me that, and I said, you know, today was a wash. It's been rainy. It finally quit raining. As you can probably hear, it just started pouring rain again. So I said, heck, I'm going to go out there and whack some trees and yell a little bit, see what happens. It'll be fun. And while I was doing that, I decided, hey, I'm going to tell these folks on YouTube about my experiences and let the cards fall where they may. And I'll tell you, I've talked to several of them. I'm not going to mention names. They know who they are. Very respected people in this community, in the community I'm part of on YouTube. The outdoors, knife, firearms kind of people that have stories. And maybe I'm kind of a goofy guy, and you're looking at this, you're saying, oh, yeah, Cornbread's just making a video. If I'm lying, I'm dying. This is exact. I'm not saying I saw or heard Bigfoot. I don't know what I saw or heard. I'm just telling you what I saw and what I heard. But if these other guys were to come out and tell you their experience, you'd be like, ooh. Pretty much where this is, I made this video. I cut a lot of it out. I had filmed where I drove to the place I was at. I cut all that. I'm going to cut all that out. I'm just going to get to the brass tacks of telling y'all what I got to tell y'all. And I decided finally to do this for one reason and one reason only. That is, if you have a story, something you've seen, that kind of thing. If you will comment and tell me what that is, and look, if you are like I've been for so long and you don't want to put it out there, everybody's like, where old Hickey Doodle that commented on Cornbread's thing, he's stupid as Cornbread is. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want the world to know, email me and tell me about your story. We can share phone numbers, we can text, whatever. I just want to know if there's other people out there. And I know there are, but I like to hear what you've got this, kind of what you think about this. And over the years, and I mean, the last incident hasn't been very many years ago. And I was well over 40 years old then. But the first one rattled me. The second one, I didn't go back in that area for almost 3 years. And when I did go back, I was carrying a shotgun. Because I love a scatter gun. But matter of fact, it was that shotgun right there at 1187. I'll be dang. But I was carrying that shotgun right there. It was all wrapped in, I call it turkey tape, like hockey tape, keep the shine down and all. But I was carrying that, and I had 5 double-aught buckshot in it. And I'm thinking, we going out with a blaze of glory, But I've never seen or heard anything ever remotely in this kind of category since. I imagine there's going to be some fun poking, and I don't blame you. I know how this sounds, and some people go, yeah, I've done, I won't say research, I've watched some videos on YouTube of different things, and that's kind of the wrong thing to do, because people have developed classifications and categories, cryptid animals, and I think Bigfoot's really an alien because they walk through time portals in the woods, and I can't say that's wrong. I can't say it. I can't even say what I saw, but yeah, if you've seen something, if you live in one of these places like Washington State and mountains of western North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and all up the Blue Ridge Mountains, and there's stories and sightings and reporting of stuff everywhere. If you'll just chime in, let me know what you think. And this is kind of a strange video. Like I say, I don't know what's going to become of it. I don't even know if I'll post it, I'm just making it in case I decide to post it. It's a hard deal to do when you open yourself up to a bunch of ridicule and, we always thought he was a little bit touched, Or, Cornbread's doing this because he's building a YouTube channel. He wants a bunch of subscribers. I couldn't care less if one person subscribes over this or not. You know, this is strictly a, do you have a story? What do you think? If you don't have a story, how do you feel about it? What do you think about it? You know, and I'm not stupid. I like adding subscribers. I like growing the tribe, the community. You know, it's fun. It's talking to people and. Let me know what you think. But until then, I want to tell y'all, keep your flashlights charged. Keep your weapons lights batteries changed or charged up. Stay prepared. I went out a while ago in my daggum shorts with a hoodie, and it's cold. It's like 45, 48 degrees, I think, right now. 45, 48 degrees. What happens if I slip and fall out there and break a leg and I got on shorts and flip-flop and Crocs? You know, I broke my own rules. So that just goes to show you something. Stupid is as stupid does. Be prepared, whatever you're doing. If you're going and hunting and fishing, if you're going to beat on trees and scream in the woods like a crazy person over Bigfoot, be prepared. A backup for the backup, because remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Have your extra flashlight, you know, put your little get home bag, you know, little hiking bag with a way to get clean water and an extra magazine of ammo and maybe some batteries for your flashlight. But I'm done. Yep. I got it out there. I feel better. If I post it, I don't know if I'm going to post it. If I post it, I probably won't feel better because then everybody thinks I'm an idiot. But, or maybe like I say, maybe it's just confirmation. Who knows? Until I get to talk to y'all again, I hope y'all have a fantastic and blessed week. Peace and God bless. We out of here.